with the permission of our honored teacher and master, the crown of our heads, the guide of our path, who, even though he is not here, is not present, his honor, his Torah, and his spirit are always with us in every Torah discussion, in every conduct we adopt, and in every step we take. His image rises before our eyes and teaches and shows us the way we should go. We are now entering Parashat Devarim, entering the Book of Devarim, the special book, the most distinct among the books of the Torah, the book that Moses, our teacher, spoke and bequeathed to all the children of Israel throughout all generations. The personal book that Moses, our teacher, gave to every single Jew as a gift, his testament, his words, his rebuke, Moses, our teacher, gave to each and every Jew. And we have merited in our holy community and in Israel that our honored teacher and rabbi revealed to us and illuminated for us the special practice of reading the Book of Deuteronomy every Shabbat. So certainly for us, the holy community and in Israel, there is strength, there is elevation, and there is the greatest merits in heaven every year when we reach the beginning of the Book of Deuteronomy. The Sfat Emet of Gur, one of the greatest and holiest rebbes that the Jewish people had in the generation before the Holocaust, would often say during this week, when we begin the Book of Deuteronomy, that the Book of Deuteronomy is called Sefer Devarim, but it is also referred to by our sages as Mishneh Torah. It is written later in the Book of Deuteronomy that a king must have a Torah scroll that he carries with him at all times. There are differing opinions as to whether this refers to a complete Torah scroll or just this book, and from there we learn the word and the expression Mishneh Torah. The Book of Deuteronomy is called Mishneh Torah. Why did the Sfat Emet say that it is not only called Mishneh Torah because the Torah is repeated in it, but also from the word Shinui, change, meaning that this book has the power of transformation. This book has the power to change a person's destiny. This book has the power to change a harsh decree that has been issued against a person. Any change, any transformation a person wants to make in their life, the power to make that change comes through the Book of Deuteronomy. The Vilna Gaon once told his students that we know the world was created for 6,000 years and the world will exist for 6,000 years. And the Vilna Gaon said that the last millennium, the final one of the 6,000 years, and we are already at the end of this last millennium, each of the 10 portions in the Book of Deuteronomy corresponds to one portion. Every single individual portion among the 10 portions of the Book of Deuteronomy is said to correspond directly to one of the 100 years that make up the current 6th millennium of history in which we are now living. Anyone who examines and compares the portions of the Book of Deuteronomy, the 10 portions, with the 10 centuries that make up the current millennium, the Jewish millennium, according to the Jewish calendar in which we are now, will see how everything that happened in each of those 100 years is alluded to in the corresponding portion. And then Rabbi Chaim of Volozhin asked the Vilna Gaon, where are you and I alluded to? They lived in the 100 years that correspond to the Torah portion of Kiteitzai. So the Vilna Gaon immediately said to him, it is written there in the portion of Kiteitzai, even Shleima, that's what it says. Even Shleima, even Gazit, that's what it says there in Kiteitzai. So he said, even Shleima, the initials stand for Eliyahu ben Shlomo, which is the Vilna Gaon. Rabbi Chaim of Volozhin himself did not reveal where the Vilna Gaon told him that he was alluded to. Within this portion, the portion of Kiteitzai, but it is accepted that each Torah portion corresponds to, arranges, and produces a specific 100 years among the centuries of the current millennium. So this is a book with tremendous power, immense strength, and this is a time of elevation, a time for repentance, a time for drawing closer to the Holy One, blessed be He. And through reading the Book of Deuteronomy on the preceding Shabbat, one can reach tremendous heights and great spiritual levels, as our honored teacher and master has emphasized and said countless times in this very place. The greatest of our rabbis used to say that if we look and reflect, all the things that the people of Israel once had have diminished, and their value has decreased immeasurably since the destruction of the temple. The destruction of the temple is not just a single thing that was taken from us and departed from us, but rather it is something that diminished the entire quality of our lives. Every good thing that the people of Israel had has diminished and declined since the destruction of the temple. Except for one thing, the Holy Shabbat. We know that the Holy Shabbat is something that does not depend on anything. It does not depend on people's actions, nor on the generation. The Holy Shabbat is something that does not depend on anything. From the 6 days of creation, when the Holy One, blessed be He, created the world, He created the Holy Shabbat and placed holiness within it. Therefore, the Holy Shabbat does not depend on anything else. They would allude to this and say that this is what is written in this week's Torah portion, where the Holy One, blessed be He, says, it is enough for you, stay at this mountain. You have been here long enough staying at this mountain? How does this actually relate? It is enough for you, Shabbat. And turn and set out for yourselves. It is enough for you, Shabbat. How does the verse go? And turn and set out for yourselves and come. Yes, so when the Holy One, blessed be He, tells the people of Israel to travel, From Horeb, the Holy One says, "Leave the destruction, for you have dwelt here long enough," meaning destruction ruined all good things. Now the only power remaining strong within Israel is the power of Shabbat. All the other things, festivals, holidays, the observance of commandments, everything was destroyed, and now we are only trying to reconstruct and achieve a small glimmer of the strength and power that existed when the temple stood. The only thing that has not diminished is the power of the Holy Shabbat. Therefore, the combination of these two things, the reading of the Book of Deuteronomy, whose power is so great, especially in this generation, and the Holy Shabbat is something tremendous and of the highest merit. We are now entering the final stretch of the 3 weeks of mourning. We are about to enter this week. We will enter the week in which Tisha B'Av falls, a week in which we already need to take things very seriously. As we approach the end of the week, we will reach Tisha B'Av, the day on which it will be decided whether the temple will be rebuilt, whether we will merit redemption or not, whether we will merit the rebuilding of the temple or not. This is a week in which we need to reflect on these matters and understand what our task is during this week. And this matter is so important, so present in our lives. For the Jewish person, this is called the memory of the temple, the connection to the temple, the understanding of what exile is, the understanding of what redemption is. We need to grasp this in a sober, genuine, and very, very precise way. If we pay attention, all the times that we celebrate or remember on the Jewish calendar, every event that we are commanded to do because of a certain reason, there is a mitzvah that we are supposed to get up and fulfill in order to remember that historical event. On the holiday of Sukkot, when we remember our exodus from Egypt, that we walked in the desert and there were clouds of glory that protected us, how do we do this? We do this by means of a sukkah. We build a sukkah, we wave the lulav. There are practical mitzvot that we perform, that we recite blessings over, and these are the ones that, is everything okay? There are practical mitzvot that we fulfill and we recite blessings over them, and it is through them that we fulfill the obligation of the Torah's commandment. The command of the sages, this is the way we observe mitzvot. On Passover as well, we eat matzah and drink wine. Every festival, every time, every matter that the Holy One, blessed be He, wanted us to remember, internalize, and incorporate into our plans, there is a mitzvah that we bless and actually perform. The only thing that is so important, so real, so necessary for us, the building of the temple, this entire period in which we mourn and in which we remember the destruction of the temple, there is no action, no practical deed that we perform as a mitzvah through which we remember the temple. Throughout all these 21 days of Bein HaMetzarim, during which we remember the destruction of the temple, there is no act that we can get up and do, and by doing so remember the destruction of the temple and fulfill this commandment to remember the destruction of the temple. There is no such commandment. All the work of remembering the temple is something that exists in a person's heart. It is something that exists in a person's thoughts, and something that is in a person's heart and mind is much more complicated. It is much less simple. If a person on the holiday of Sukkot took a lulav and etrog and waved them, even though he didn't want to, even though he didn't have intention, even though he didn't participate with all his feelings and thoughts and all parts of his soul in this mitzvah, he still fulfilled his obligation. But with a mitzvah that is entirely internal, entirely about thought, entirely emotional, a person is obligated to ensure that he truly experiences, that he truly thinks in the right way what he is supposed to think during these days. Because if not, he will not be depicted on the temple. If not, he has not fulfilled what the sages wanted him to fulfill. All the matters of this time, of remembering the temple, of the days of Bein HaMetzarim, all depend solely on a person's thoughts and inner self. And therefore, if we pay attention, this Shabbat is called Shabbat Chazon. It is the Shabbat on which we read the Haftarah of the vision of Isaiah, son of Amos. We read this Haftarah on the current Shabbat. This is the Haftarah that is read on this Shabbat. Next Shabbat, we read the Haftarah of Nachamu, in which the Holy One, blessed be He, comforts the people of Israel. These are two differences, two completely different things. Shabbat Chazon, which is about hardship, suffering, something terrible that the people of Israel experienced. Next Shabbat is Parashat Nachamu, when the Holy One, blessed be He, comforts the people of Israel. In Gematria, in numbers, what is the difference between the word Chazon and the word Nachamu? The difference in Gematria is 32. 32, that's the difference between Chazon and Nachamu. What is this meant to teach us? What is this thing coming to teach us? That the difference between the current state we are in now of Chazon and the coming Shabbat, which is the Shabbat of comfort, the Shabbat of ascent, all depends on a person's heart, all depends on a person's thoughts. Because everything for the people of Israel, all the gifts that the people of Israel have, all the great things that the people of Israel can achieve, it is through the heart, through thought, through awareness. So in order to understand what we must accomplish today, Let's examine from both directions what caused the destruction of the temple. This great and holy house where all of Israel would look for guidance was the house of prayer for the Holy One. Blessed be He, and a gathering place for all nations. The Holy One brought us there, yet because of the many years that have passed since the destruction, we read about them, but we can't really imagine them. And we don't truly know how to experience in our minds what those things were like, what it was that caused the destruction, the ruin, and the burning of the temple from both sides, from the side of the destroyers and from our side, those for whom it was destroyed. Almost our entire nation has been this way since the destruction of the temple. The destroyers, who were the destroyers of the temple? The kingdom of Edom. The kingdom of Edom, the wicked kingdom, which so many times in the words of our sages is mentioned as those who destroyed the temple, those who brought all the troubles upon the people of Israel, and our sages prophesy such great things about them. The kingdom of Edom are the ones who destroyed the temple. Who is Edom? Esau the wicked. In many midrashim we are told that Esau is Edom. Seemingly this doesn't fit geographically. It doesn't fit geographically. The place where Edom is located is Mount Seir. The descendants of Esau were in Mount Seir. Rome, the kingdom of Rome, is all the way in Italy. How do these things fit together? So the Ramban brings a tradition that he had, that when Joseph the righteous came to bury Jacob in the land of Israel, the grandson of Esau the wicked, the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau the wicked, opposed together with Esau the wicked, the burial of our father Jacob in Hebron, in the cave of Machpelah. And therefore, Joseph the righteous captured the grandson of Esau the wicked and took him as a prisoner with him to the land of Egypt. So writes the Ramban. And that grandson of Esau the wicked managed to escape from Egypt, went to Italy, and there founded the kingdom of Rome. This is the way by which the descendants of Esau reached Rome and established the kingdom there. And after hundreds of thousands of years, they are the ones who came and destroyed the holy temple. The Ramban writes that this is the family with whom the people of Israel have an eternal war. From our forefather Jacob, who fought with the wicked Esau, then the wicked Esau who fought against the tribes who came to bury Jacob, our forefather, in the cave of Machpelah, then with Amalek, after Amalek, with Esau's grandson who founded Rome and the destruction of the holy temple. Our wars have always been with them. What is the reason that the Edomite nation, what is the reason that the descendants of Esau had the power, had the spiritual ability to destroy the holy temple? So the Baal HaTorah writes in our Torah portion that the reason the descendants of Esau were able to destroy the holy temple and exile the people of Israel is because they possessed the merit and the ability of honoring father and mother. They had the power of honoring father and mother, and therefore they were able to destroy the holy temple. Where do we learn this from? What is the connection? So, as we said, it is written in the Torah portion that the Holy One, blessed be He, tells the people of Israel to stop circling Mount Seir, that they should no longer go around Mount Seir. What does this mean? The Baal HaTorah writes that there is a crown on the letter Samek. On the letter Samek in this word, there is a crown. Why is this to hint to us? What does the letter Samek actually hint at? He writes, to Isaac, our forefather. Our forefather Isaac fathered Esau the wicked when he was 60 years old. Isaac fathered Esau when our forefather Isaac was 60 years old, and Esau the wicked made a great effort, did everything in his power to honor our forefather Isaac. Therefore, he had the merit and the ability to destroy the temple whose height was 60 cubits. This is what the Baal HaTorah writes. Esau greatly honored Isaac, who fathered him at the age of 60. Therefore, he had the power and the ability to destroy the temple, which was 60 cubits high, to destroy it, and to exile the people of Israel, and for all the difficult things to happen to the people of Israel. The brother of Amral from Perak writes in his book, The Letter of the Journey, that's what his book is called, that when Jacob and Esau met in their great encounter after Jacob returned from Haran, Esau said to Jacob, come with me to Mount Seir. Our forefather Jacob said to him, I will travel at my own pace. I will go slowly. What is the deeper meaning of these things? What is the true intention behind these words? So the brother of Amram from Perak, our teacher Chaim, reveals and says that Esau the wicked said to our forefather Jacob, come with me to Mount Seir. What does come with me to Mount Seir mean? It means redemption. At that time God will judge, and saviors will ascend Mount Zion to judge the mountain of Esau as prayed. Redemption revolves around Mount Seir, the mountain of Esau, where all curses will fall, bringing Israel's ultimate salvation. Esau invited our forefather Jacob to join him in this perfection. Jacob's response was, he said, I will proceed at my own pace. What does I will proceed at my own pace mean? So the brothers of the Maharal of Prague explain and say, I will proceed at my own pace. I will proceed at my own pace. What does that mean? The letter A is 5. In gematria, in number. And what is the 5th commandment among the 10 commandments? Honoring father and mother, A warning that God commands every Jew to strictly observe this honor. Jacob told Esau, I went at my own pace for 5. I took my time honoring my father and mother. I wasn't strict about it, so I have a long way to reach redemption. Esau's descendants merited overcoming Israel, destroying the temple, and ruling over them because they honored their parents, while we did not. That was the only power the descendants of Esau had, which is why they were able to destroy the temple. We must understand how this connects to the destruction. If we reflect on the commandment of honoring one's father and mother, there is something about this matter that is not fully understood. It is an important commandment, a great and mighty one, but it is often misunderstood. On closer inspection, we see that among the people of Israel, the commandment to honor parents is often incomplete. Our forefather Jacob did not sufficiently honor Isaac and was not with him for 22 years. Therefore, Jacob was punished by not being with Joseph the righteous for 22 years. 22 years during which Joseph the righteous was in the land of Egypt. It is also written about Joseph the righteous that he too actually not just Joseph the righteous, all the tribes, all of them were lacking in the matter of honoring father and mother by selling Joseph the righteous as a slave. In the early generations of the people of Israel, we find a lack of completeness in the matter of honoring father and mother. Also among the Tanaim and Amoraim, we know that Rabban Gamliel honored his father with the greatest respect. And when the sages were strict with him, he said, all the honor I gave my father, this was not even 1/100th of what Esau the wicked honored our father Isaac. I honor my father with my dirty clothes. And when I go out to the street, when I go out to the study hall to teach, I wear my respectable and beautiful clothes. Esau did the opposite. He served his father in his special clothes, and when he went outside, he wore the more inferior, worn out and torn clothes. I have not even reached a fraction of what he achieved. Rabbi Tarfon, as we know, the Midrash tells us, the Gemara tells us, the Midrash tells Rabban Gamliel, the Gemara tells about Rabbi Tarfon, that once Rabbi Tarfon fell ill and the sages came to visit his mother told them about the great honor Rabbi Tarfon showed her, and the sages said to Rabbi Tarfon's mother that he had not even fulfilled 1,000th of what he was supposed to fulfill. The Jewish people are always somehow found to be lacking and incomplete in this matter, called honoring one's father and mother. Among the non-Jews, we find absolute perfection in this matter. Always the greatest figure we learn from regarding the whole issue of honoring one's father and mother is Esau the wicked. Another remarkable story, which every time we want to strengthen ourselves in the matter of honoring one's father and mother, we go and learn from it, is the story of Dama ben Netina, which the Gemara recounts both in the Babylonian Talmud and the Jerusalem Talmud, tells of a non-Jew named Dama ben Netina who lived in the city of Ashkelon. The sages were searching for a stone for the breastplate and came to him, but he was not willing to wake his father in order to take the stone from under his father's pillow. As a result, he lost a large sum of money, and the Holy One, blessed be he, rewarded him by granting him a red heifer in his herd. We always find among the nations of the world a sense of perfection when it comes to honoring one's father and mother. Among us, among the people of Israel, we always find some kind of deficiency, and we are never completely whole in this regard, while all the perfection is attributed to the non-Jews. Even in the one instance where we find tremendous devotion to honoring one's father and mother with Joseph the righteous, about Joseph the righteous it is written that he went to his brothers to inquire about their well-being as commanded by our forefather Jacob. It is written that he knew his brothers would seize him, that they would sell him and do to him the harsh things that they did. And yet he still went. Why does Sefer Chassidim write that Joseph the righteous went? He said, I need to learn a fortiori from Esau the wicked. Esau the wicked went out to hunt for Isaac and put himself at risk going among the wild animals and was willing to die in order to bring lunch to our forefather Isaac. Should I not go on the mission of my father Jacob to see how my brothers are doing while I am still alive? We always learn the great lessons of honoring father and mother from non-Jews, not from Jews. Why is that? Why is it that non-Jews are always complete in this matter while Jews are not? So let's pay attention. And also another question regarding honoring parents. The Torah warns about honoring parents in a way that it seems unnecessary to even warn about it. The Torah commands us both regarding commandments that we would have understood on our own that we need to fulfill, and regarding commandments that we would not have understood on our own and would not have been moved in our hearts to fulfill them. So for commandments that are not natural for a person to fulfill, the Torah warns about them. The Torah tells us how much reward there is for them. The Torah greatly encourages a person to fulfill these commandments. But for commandments that are understandable to human reason as to why a person should fulfill them, there is less need to encourage them. A person will be drawn to them on his own. Honoring father and mother is the most understandable commandment there is. Any normal person who has a bit of gratitude, who has even a sense of compassion, of goodness, of human connection, will honor his parents and give them everything he has. Regarding honoring parents, the Torah warns us, promises great rewards, and equates honoring God and the temple with honoring them. Why does the Torah command this so strongly? Why is perfect parental honor found among other nations but not us? What is its true significance? So we know that there are three partners in a person: the Holy One, blessed be He, His father, and His mother. Every person has three partners in his creation, in his existence, in everything he is, in his character traits, in his qualities, everything that is in a person, it all comes from them. His father, his mother, and the Holy One, blessed be He. The Father provides the bones, the Mother the blood and the whiteness, and the Holy One, blessed be He, gives the soul. So if we pay attention, every person, in fact in his life, every Jewish person who faces challenges in his life, every person who is at any stage of his life, why is there always a risk for him regarding honoring his father and mother? Why is that? Because if the Holy One, blessed be He, gave the soul and the parents gave the other parts of the person, then any bad thing in a person, any bad trait in a person, any bad characteristic in a person, where will it always come from? From his parents? From the Holy One, blessed be He. It cannot be that a bad feeling or a bad trait would come. It cannot be that something bad would come to a person from the Holy One, blessed be He. Every bad thing that a person has, where does it come from? Where does it come from? From his parents. And therefore, a Jewish person always strives to progress, always strives to be perfect, always strives to reach the highest spiritual level, and there will always be a kind of friction and a kind of conflict with his parents. Why is that? Because he hates the bad traits that are within him. He works to correct them, he works to remove them from himself, but where is their source? Where do they really come from? From his father and mother. Since they come from his father and mother, even though he doesn't make the connection between the things, even though he doesn't say, this trait comes from my father and mother, and therefore I hate them, absolutely not. Because he is constantly dealing with his bad traits, and he wants to correct them, and he wants to perfect them, he always has some kind of friction, something unclear, something unexplained, and a certain hidden tension with his parents. The tension a person has with his own bad traits, how is it translated outwardly? How does it actually appear to others? Of course he has it with his father and mother. That is why among the people of Israel there is always a need for help and for great care when it comes to honoring one's father and mother. Why? Because even the greatest righteous people were not perfect in honoring their father and mother. Why? Because they always wanted to correct themselves and remove from themselves any bad or negative trait they had. They inherited the bad trait from their parents. Despite their parents' righteousness, none are sinless. It stems from their lineage. For other nations without the Holy One to give them souls, their nature, both good and bad, comes from their parents. It is determined. They attribute both the good and the bad to their parents, and it doesn't matter to them whether their parents are good or bad, whether they have good traits or not. That's why they ignore it and live in peace, love, and brotherhood with their parents. Why is it that among the people of Israel there is never absolute perfection in honoring one's father and mother? Because every Jew always strives for perfection and wants to improve himself. How can he constantly improve himself? He doesn't realize it, but he expresses it through hatred, resentment, and all sorts of complaints and things against his parents. And based on this, we also understand what Rabban Gamliel said, what Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel said. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel said, what is the difference between honoring one's father and mother as he honored his father and the way Esau honored his father? Esau honored his father with inferior clothes, but when he went out, he wore beautiful and splendid garments. Esau did exactly the opposite. What does this mean? So we know that all of a person's character traits, all of a person's qualities, all parts of the soul, a person's behaviors, how are they referred to in the language of the sages? As a person's garments. This is called a person's garment. So Rabban Gamliel used to say, every time I speak with my father, every time I am with my father, what is it that is awakened within me? The garments which are actually the less positive traits that I have. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel was certainly not more righteous than Esau the wicked. And if Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, who risked his life for every matter of Torah, saw that Esau the wicked would enter and honor his father and serve his father with the finest and most dignified garments, he too would do the same. What is this? Why didn't he do the same? Because actually this hints at something entirely different. He said, when I come before my father, I come with the dirty garments that are within me. What is the reason I don't reach perfection like Esau? Because I have somewhat dirty garments. I have some traits that aren't so good inherited from my parents. Esau, on the other hand, who was entirely wicked, got the little good in him from Isaac. Every time he would come before Isaac, he would come wearing his best, most splendid and beautiful garments. Because the good that he had, he received from our father Isaac, and the evil within him, he produced himself. This is why the nations of the world fully honor their parents, while the people of Israel are not yet complete in this matter. Israel always seeks to improve and fix their qualities very quickly. That is the key difference between them. This is also why nations like Esau prevailed over Israel. They possess the strength of honoring their father and mother, a strength the people of Israel lacked at that time. This is why our sages say that the people of Edom, the descendants of Esau, had the power to destroy the temple. In contrast, the people of Israel, we, the children of Israel, what is the reason that the temple was destroyed? What is the reason that the land was lost? What is the reason that we were exiled from the land of Israel? Why did this happen? Our sages say they asked the heavens, the earth, and everyone, why was the land lost? God himself answered, because they abandoned my Torah. What does abandoning my Torah mean? Our sages explain that it means they did not recite the blessing over the Torah first. The Israelites of the generation of the destruction did not recite the blessing over the Torah first. They would study without blessing the Torah blessings. This is the reason why that terrible destruction befell the Israelites and the temple was destroyed. We have asked this several times recently, and this is something that always requires clarification and always needs to be understood. What does it mean that those people who studied Torah, who delved into Torah, who observed the commandments, saw no need to fulfill just one thing, to recite the blessings over the Torah? They fulfilled all the other commandments with enthusiasm, with excitement. They had no issue, no problem at all with any of the other commandments. One small matter, 30 seconds, 40 seconds in the morning to recite the blessings over the Torah that they did not want to do, that they did not do, that they absolutely refused to do. Why? In just 30 to 40 seconds, they could fulfill another law from the Shulchan Aruch, fulfill another commandment, and merit the world to come. There was something within them that just didn't connect on a soul level with the mitzvah of respect, with this matter of the blessings over the Torah, and so they did not recite these blessings. What is the reason? What is the root of the matter? To clarify this based on the Meor Einayim on this Torah portion. Can someone study what the Meor Einayim says? Is anyone here? The Meor Einayim, a disciple of the Baal Shem Tov, writes a fundamental idea in our Torah portion. He notes that our sages said, it is said that a person should always study even if it is not for its own sake. A person should always study not for its own sake, because from studying not for its own sake, he will eventually come to study for its own sake. A person should always study Torah, even if he wants to study in order to show off, for honor, or for all sorts of other traits and reasons. Still, a person should study Torah, because through studying Torah, not for the sake of heaven, not for the sake of bringing satisfaction to the Holy One, blessed be He, not for the sake of elevating the Shechina, not for all the reasons we say one should study Torah for, still, in the end, he will come to study for the right reasons. He will come to study for its own sake. The Meor Einayim questions what it means to study without pure intent to eventually reach it. It is unclear, as we are often told, to always strive for right intention, regardless of how many times one tries. Someone says, if from every nation expressions keep coming up and people keep reaching out and following, so if we gain from these trainings, fragrant and pleasant, but within not for its own sake and not out of thirst, what does that mean? The question is, what does it mean to always study when he does not listen? We are not instructed to ever say, study not for its own sake. If you are not supposed to tell them that, you will not get everyone to listen. We are not instructed to ever say it. If you consider that you will, it may start off very nicely, but there are times when, as he is studying, all sorts of thoughts arise within him. I will study Torah and then they will make me a rabbi. I will study Torah and outsiders. There are no organizations there. There are all sorts of efforts. So I will become a great scholar. A person prays, and suddenly in the middle of prayer, bad thoughts come up, negative thoughts about things like money, material concerns, all sorts of thoughts attack him, and all sorts of... That's not love. If I step back, I will finish my prayer with forbidden thoughts. I will use the Torah as a tool for my own gain and study Torah in order to become great, to achieve things that are not good. Absolutely not. That's not the way. He leaves the Torah and goes backwards. The author of Meor Einayim writes that a person who abandons the Torah when inappropriate thoughts come to him, thoughts that are not fitting for Torah, he is contracting for forgiveness through the Torah. A person who stops praying when all sorts of improper and unfitting thoughts come to him during prayer is someone who distances the redemption. He is someone who causes the Holy One, blessed be He, that he listens to Israel's prayers. The Meor Einayim writes that he brings harsh decrees upon Israel, but when a person sincerely repents, the Almighty grants them merit. Yet, how is the sin repaired and elevated? He explains there are two parts: repentance, where one returns to the Almighty, and the Torah. True rectification for sin can only be achieved through the Torah. In a true and complete way, the sin. Only through the Torah can a person truly and completely rectify his sin. So writes the Gefal and Yakid, and the PSX Rebbe writes, and how does a person actually rectify through the Torah? He explains the setup, including informal camps, action camps, and Griffin equipment. He mentions EKD, dem signal planning, the Sephirot, and Type 365. Looking inward, he notes the Phaser 4, LEDs, and Randy's stage. After reviewing the process from the start, he identifies Hera and notes that Donna will be the next person to speak. Where do they awaken? In this sense, with the last Sephirah called Malchut. The Sephirah, just before the first one, what is it called? Bina. It is the Sephirah where, to its right, the judgments are awakened. These are not the judgments themselves, not the active judgments, but there is an awakening of the judgments there, which then cascade through all the attributes down to Malchut, where it operates. So he writes, a person at first begins to learn Torah only through speech. He only knows how to speak words of Torah. This is in Malchut. We know that the Zohar says that Malchut is the oral Torah. This is called Malchut. King David, whose entire being was speech, songs, and praises, is aligned with Malchut. When a person only speaks words of Torah, this is the lowest level of Torah study. But even so, speech, a person who is truly unclear text, because when already beer, skill, constructive, huge participants have already treble fin restore. Yeah, I hope you'll free us of that to come. To the Sephirah, they are address person that has never been included. All the Sephirot, all the attributes. What does it mean that he needs to go through all the Sephirot and all the attributes? How does he ascend? How does he climb through all the Sephirot? He needs to rectify them by, what does he rectify them by? The Torah? No. Torah is only at the top in Bina or at the bottom in Malchut. That's how he writes. How does a person rectify all these Sephirot? Every time, every flaw that a person has caused in one of the Sephirot along the way, from Malchut up to Bina, a person receives some bad thought. From Chesed, the whole matter of Chesed, the whole matter of forbidden desires, from the place of Gevura, which is what refines understanding of Torah. But before a person reaches the highest place, where he completely rectifies the entire matter and fully comprehends the complete understanding of all the Torah, he must go through all the attributes and rectify all the flaws he has caused in them. How does he rectify all the flaws he has caused? By confronting all the foreign thoughts that attack him, especially during his study. This is what our sages tell us a person should always study, even not for its own sake. A person must not stop, avoid, or be overly cautious. Always study not for its own sake. Why? Because from studying not for its own sake, one comes to study for its own sake. You need to take the not for its own sake and turn it into for its own sake. It's not that there are two separate chapters, two different things. Torah not for its own sake for a certain period, and then one day you'll come to study Torah for its own sake. On the contrary, you should take the always study, even if it's not for its own sake. Always understand the value of those not for its own sake moments that attack you, those foreign thoughts that touch you, and understand that the only way to reach Torah for its own sake is through the struggle with. The main focus should be on the study of Torah. He writes something frightening. He writes that very often, even when studying Torah, a person who advances in Torah, what kind of thoughts will mostly come to him to attack him? Thoughts of pride. Torah is something that elevates a person, gives a person a sense of purpose, gives a person charisma, gives a person strength, gives a person all the good qualities. So very often a person wants to boast about his Torah. What is the connection between boasting and Torah? So he writes, it's known from the Midrashim that the Holy One says, present my Torah. Essentially, the Torah guarantees that a person with sufficient study will be recognized. He titles the Torah a slowed story. He wrote explanations for people, emphasizing that the beginning must be profoundly considered. Learning how to talk and define things is key. I am in the city now. Despite disputes and sapphire memories, the conversation grew. Even with offenses, maturity and work coincide. It is truly difficult to say with absolute certainty, because every single time I stop to think about exactly where the switch is within the moment, it feels elusive. Through the Dimensional Wellbeing Project and our shared collective joy in the Torah, we are witnessing a profound and meaningful transformation taking place. Even when we are faced with significant challenges or moments that have been forgotten, we must ensure that we do not stop our important work. We continue to write, to predict our progress, and to move steadily and purposefully toward our broader societal goals and the ultimate vision we have set for ourselves. He listens to Torah, and when he enters a thought to focus or a bad thought during prayer, he cannot dismiss it. He simply says, this is not the time to study, closes the book and rushes through prayer. He fails to elevate sparks or rectify anything, missing out and delaying the world's redemption. The Me'or Einayim writes this explicitly. In the second discourse on the Parsha, he writes wonderful things about how our father Abraham rectified the world. It is written about Abraham our father, how he essentially converted all the converts. From which verse do we learn this? That Abraham our father converted converts, and that Abraham our father brought those who were distant closer, and all the lofty things that Abraham our father did in the world. Where do we learn this from? From the verse, and the souls that they made in Haran. How does the Targum Onkelos interpret the souls that they made? The souls that they made in Haran? The souls that Abraham our father brought under the wings of the Torah? What is the connection? It is written how Abraham our father brought all the people closer from afar. It is written how Abraham our father, your will from Industria, that they will also make tactical actions. PVs are my DDR. The het combinations you need, H Trongimon means life. Gelbiol Crips belong to twists, we will be busy. Prinzin Kalatzen, more bizim de show. So, hiversishot the deepest die orted. Gabrielna in disexual following. All diverisina odi pitart NCS rumdin klimitai. Minor heos partial liba homeland is GHD campus. Krud ZVK Python University, not C. Kirby's Walmart ist. And he studies and speaks words of Torah, and through dealing with his character traits and with the matters and issues that all the people of his generation experience, he will bring them all to repentance. Maybe this very thing, let's read a few words of what he writes about this. You didn't know this? It's frightening. I'll read what he wrote of Abraham. This was Abraham's work, as written, the souls they made in Haran, which Onkelos explains as bringing them under the Torah. Through all trials in Haran, he strengthened himself in traits below understanding, Bina, subduing and elevating them to the Torah, called Bina. He sweetened the evil of corrupted traits, whether his own before repenting, or those of his generation linked to his soul, thus all attached to the evil of a trait who fell. They, peace be upon them, understood the traits on a higher level and rectified them. Even those who were attached and rooted in a trait for evil were also sweetened, so that they too would come to take refuge under the wings of the Shekhinah and convert. This is what he writes. Where does he write this? He writes wonderful things. He writes that whoever does not learn in this way, and whoever does not know how to deal with foreign thoughts during prayer or foreign thoughts during Torah study, is the one who prolongs the exile and is the one who causes the Messiah not to come quickly to the people of Israel. This is a shift in perception in the serve. What do we always think? That Torah study, it's something holy. Reminder that this is the Bible. Torah study is the very best thing. Textbook Listeran is the most formal. Fulfilling a mitzvah is the very best thing. Completely perfect. Fulfilling a mitzvah is the most perfect and special thing, and there can't possibly be anything bad in it. And it's not exactly like that. And anything that's girlish, anything that exists in the Torah, any improper thing that arises within it, any bad thought, any improper thing that comes up, anything that tries to succeed on its own for enrichment or guru buddy, anything that comes from ourselves and it's not connected, that we need to do to close the book, to step back, to return home, and after a certain period expect that these thoughts will leave us and then we will be holy enough to study Torah. But that's absolutely not the case. A person who has sinned, a person whose soul is connected to the Torah, the Holy One, blessed be He, the people of Israel and the Torah are one thing, and every time you come to the Torah or to prayer or to anything spiritual, all the things a person needs to correct will come up against him. They will jump at him like a wave rising over a person and threaten to knock him down. If a person does not know, nevertheless, to pray and to push away the forbidden thoughts that disturb a person during prayer, otherwise a person will not learn, God forbid. There are still many things that he will need to correct along the way. Even when a person studies Torah, there are things he will need to fix. Even when a person prays, there are things he will need to repair. And also, when discussing and dealing with mitzvot, there are things that will need to be corrected in all the commandments, in every situation, noticing the different perspectives, the leaks, the dramatic moments, and the fears that arise. What is the reason that we recite blessings? So, there is a distinction. There are blessings over commandments, and there are blessings over enjoyment, unpacks. Why do we recite blessings over commandments? There are many reasons, but the main reason is that every commandment requires a specific intent. It is an essential part of the act. When a person recites a blessing, he intends to fulfill the commandment. For the lulav, this is a blessing over commandments. But why do we recite blessings over enjoyment? It is to thank and express gratitude to the Holy One, blessed be He. However, the Holy Zohar and our Master and all the sages reveal a deeper reason in the secret Torah. We recite these blessings to clarify and separate all the negative elements found in everything. For example, when there is a good kosher apple that a person wants to eat, which has no forbidden mixture and is permitted, the blessing serves to refine it. The best good. It's possible that there are bad things in it. It's possible that there are all kinds of things. Most likely there are all kinds of evil souls that have been reincarnated into this food. There are all sorts of corrupted souls, all sorts of souls that have not yet reached their rectification that are found in this food. If a person eats them without proper intention, all the negative forces of those souls will enter his body, gather within him, and rage inside him, causing him to do bad deeds, leading him down difficult paths, and causing him to have suspicious thoughts. He is essentially completing all those souls that are found within the foods. And then after the blessing, when he eats the food, this food helps him. And this food gives him life and adds strength to his service of God. If he does not bless over this food, it will add strength to negative things. This is the matter of blessings over enjoyment, according to the teachings of Kabbalah, to rectify all the souls and all the things, all the souls that have been reincarnated into all the foods. The point of the blessing is to separate the bad from the good, so that if there is bad within the food we eat, we take only the good and not the bad. This is the matter of blessings over enjo. It is almost certain to say that we know that during the period of the days of the temple, the teachings of Kabbalah were the domain of only a select few, except perhaps for some parts of it that trickled down to the rest of the people. And perhaps they knew only a little, just as there are so many things, logical matters, except for that. Based on this, we understand why those righteous people, the Asian intellects and others who were in Jerusalem, did not recite a blessing before they studied Torah, why they did not bless before they learned Torah. We recite a blessing before we study Torah. Why? As we said, it is partly because we want to fulfill the commandment, but there is also another reason. It is what certain people celebrate, the separation and the services of the Jewish side, and also to see what might emerge. It's Monday bargaining. I decide the personality and planning. It's exciting. They took it from me because it was simple and chunky, but I'm used to it. Tutor, shots, and returning. That's what happened today. Regarding exports, we haven't had issues here. It's a response to the situation, including the Palestinian sense and other quotes. That the Torah would instill in us, would awaken in us some kind of negative knowledge or bad trait. That can't be. That's not something that happens. That's not something possible. The Torah is perfect and good, and all spirituality is whole and good and rectified, and it can't be. It wouldn't make sense to think that one needs to deal with something bad or something difficult when learning Torah. Therefore, they didn't prepare at all in the beginning. They saw the Torah as something that is so great, as something so lofty, that it doesn't require preparation, doesn't require thought about how to engage with it, doesn't require thought about how to be with this thing, how to deal with the something from which something bad could come out. You need to think about how to do it, how to fulfill it, to concentrate. You need to bless in order to rectify, to clarify everything that needs to be clarified. But something that is perfect and good, there is no reason to do that. You don't need to prepare for it. You don't need to do anything for it. That's why they didn't bless before they engaged in Torah. They saw the Torah as something perfect and saw the Torah and the commandments as something perfect and good. Bad traits, bad things that exist, they are with us, they are within us, they are from our past, and they are not connected to the Torah, not at all. About those who broke time and repented, not through Torah or prayer, why did Esau's descendants have the power to destroy the temple? Because of their merit in honoring parents. We, however, fell short in that honor, so the temple was destroyed. This is why the sages say Edom had such power. But for us, the children of Israel, what is the written reason for our destruction? As a starting point, what is the connection between the two things? What is the relationship between them, as we said? What is the essence of honoring one's parents? That a person does not know that it has these foundations, good foundational basis, superior qualities of his, that he does not need to hate with Harold El Yet De In from his ancestor. He does not need to hate everyone in the world just because he has that signal rival, El Bilmurim, to reach high and exalted places. These are the select and lofty ones among the nations of the world, and then he does love. They don't need to deal with this, so they are complete when it comes to honoring, congratulate Kaval, and they are complete in the matter of honoring Zostraha, divine ancestors, and we are so restless, always driven to action, and Kanye does everything to list some uphill about games, yes, and single Sashi as hundreds of Koro chocolate rhymes in Hero Akshi. Shen in acceptance that they haven't seen anything more precious, Martin. But Hagol points to watching. Then with Tiempo leave PCs, include worker Shoyer and Tech Quatera products. Haremu Jusim Malsek remove PM Passover. This is for the sake of Enery. This guide shares how one connects to God by overcoming oneself in study and directing it toward heaven, and by focusing all thoughts in prayer, one remembers their purpose. Others failed because they did not know the true path or how to use their traits for God's service. That is why they fell. To build the temple, renew oneself, and reach spiritual perfection, one must understand this. When a person realizes they learn for the sake of heaven, The good qualities that he has? Absolutely not. The rectification of one's traits, the struggle with these traits, with these negative traits, with these negative thoughts. These are a person's ladder to reach the highest place, the place where judgments are sweetened, to reach the most elevated and lofty places. We need to be strong. I will add another thought on this matter, but based on this, let's add another layer to the topic. So as we heard, the Meor Enayim writes, what is the purpose? How does a person know that he truly understands? How does a person know that all his sins have been forgiven? The moment he reaches a complete understanding of the Torah. A person must rise to a level where he speaks only words of Torah, contends with all the traits, contends with all the negative things that attack him, to a state where he comprehends the Torah fully. The moment he achieves a complete understanding of the Torah, whoever contemplates this will be given his first, the Meor A. He simply writes this. So the moment a person reaches a complete understanding in Torah study, what happens? Then he can know that his sin has been rectified and he has been completely purified from all the impurities that were in him, from all the transgressions he had, and he has reached the highest purpose. So we thought of something simple, but it seems unclear. What is the most terrible sin that ever happened in the world? What is the greatest sin that the people of Israel committed in all their history? Which sin? The sin of the golden calf. The sin of the golden calf is the most terrible and difficult sin. When the children of Israel made the calf, they said there is no God. Rebelling against the Holy One, they sinned with gold, causing a great spiritual blemish. The rectification for this golden calf was the red heifer, a ritual commandment beyond human understanding. As a divine statute, it cannot be questioned. How then does this connect to the sages' teachings on reaching the highest level of forgiveness for sins? That is complete in the Torah. On the other hand, the thing we most need to repair, the thing we most need to perfect, we have no ability. There is no such stage at all where we reach complete understanding of the commandment that rectifies this. And in the same vein, another thing. What is the most terrible thing that happened to the people of Israel? And what is the hardest thing the Jewish people are dealing with? The destruction of the temple, the exile, this difficult period that we are in. What is the day after so much when we can end the exile? What is the day on which we can most quickly gift neighbor shepherd, get already that dimensional Felix, adopt doubts. I-Leagues Arab hits the big leagues, Belgian literature in teacher on Tanya English. Even the president information loses. I want to show where I am living with two options. Altogether, and so hungry women and identifiers, and therefore if there is in the Vatican there, let's see how Judah money and prints in the Torah, this is what truly brings joy to a person. As you already say in Tractate Berachot, where Rabbah said, what is the reward for learning? Reasoning, the reward for hearing is reasoning. When a person arrives at correct reasoning, precise reasoning, an accurate understanding in Torah, then he truly reaches reward. Then he truly reaches his joy and his reward. So it's not clear. How can a transgression be rectified by fully understanding the Holy Torah? The two most difficult, most severe things in the history of the Jewish people, in the chronicles of the Jewish people, depend between commandments and depend on things that cannot be understood and cannot be learned. Who will explain this to us, righteous ones? L'chaim. Did you understand? L'chaim. You didn't understand the question?
No, I'm still thinking about your explanation regarding the garments.
Shall we hear the answer?
No, I was thinking, so I said maybe when I heard what you said at the beginning about the garments, about why a person has hatred towards interest, he knows it's about character traits. I thought maybe it started at some point. How did it come about? And then we are the sons of the cold. Now, it's not a commandment, it's just fitting that warmth. A difficult line, you said maybe we could hear what caused it through the story that Rivka brought the garments to Jacob. From there, if it weren't for the matter of the deception with the garments with Isaac, right? Isaac said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are Esau's hands. And he chose to bless him. But Jacob was also in disguise. And from there, apparently, began the point that the rabbi mentioned the area. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about it. Was it the first one?
Yes. The righteous, how can that be? It applies to everyone. How can a person know their sin is completely erased and cleansed? By understanding Torah fully. Reading the texts and commentaries with complete clarity is the way to correct sins. Even for the worst history, like the golden calf, this remains the path. to hasten the process of exile and the consent to redemption. It is impossible for anyone to understand. It is impossible for anyone. According to Halakha, it is forbidden to study Torah on Tisha B'Av. Why? Hashem does not want us to repair the damage of the golden calf. Certainly not. Hashem does not want us to study Torah and does not want us to bring the redemption through Torah study. Certainly not. Usually you are told.
So really, how is it actually? Because we don't know about the red heifer, as I said. How will we achieve the rectification? As I said, you need to know the matter in its entirety, and then you will know. One could say that in this there is honoring one's parents. That is, when we honor our parents, we are performing the complete rectification. Why? Because it's blood in the giving through honoring one's parents. What did he receive from the Holy One, blessed be He? He received a gift a year later. What did he receive? Why a red heifer? Does it hold the blood of the beaten or a stranger? Why a cow? That is to say, to tell them, Morami, or wrote about this in the book Torah Arim, that even when you honor your parents, you should honor them like a cow. Not to honor your parents out of emotion because you love your parents and so on. So I suggest that the matter of honoring parents is something that should be done with strong outward action, to do it without emotion.
Beautiful, righteous one. So there is a saying that the ancients said, the ultimate knowledge is that we do not know. Many people say and emphasize this point, that we cannot know anything about the Holy One, blessed be He. In the end, when we reach the deepest and the highest point in the Holy Torah, what is the Torah? The Holy One, blessed be He. The Ramban writes at the beginning in his commentary, in his introduction to the Torah, that the entire Torah is actually the names of the Holy One, blessed be He. If the Torah had not been written as Torah, everything would have been the names of the Holy One, blessed be He. Everything was essentially the names of the Holy One, blessed be He. And according to the deeds that the people of Israel did, the Holy One, blessed be He, arranged these names and the letters that made up the names into the story that tells the Torah. What is the purpose of the Torah? May we never know. Maimonides and many others write that everything we learn about the Holy One, blessed be He, such as His mercy, is actually teaching us something about His nature. We ask what God is not. We cannot understand or know the Holy One. Blessed be He. The Torah isn't just something you study and then know. Absolutely not. A person who doesn't know who the Holy One, blessed be He, is, so he says, this is something I don't know, but he thinks that someone else does know who the Holy One, blessed be He, is. Why is a person commanded to recognize the Holy One, blessed be He, to learn who He is, to follow in His ways, and to study His attributes? Why reach a state where a person does not know who the Holy One, blessed be He, is? He arrives at this through understanding. He says, I have studied so much, I have tried so much, I have made so much effort, and I still do not know who the Holy One, blessed be He, is. So what is the highest level? In understanding, what is the greatest level in knowledge when a person stops and says, I do not understand the Holy One, blessed be He, I do not know what the Holy One, blessed be He, is. Therefore, in places where the people of Israel reached the highest sin, the most difficult sin, the gravest sin, the way to correct it is not through understanding the Torah, not through understanding the acts of God, but through innocence. When a person sits and says, I know that I can understand, and I try to understand, and indeed I manage to understand, but I do not truly know. As we said, a person can understand a lot of Torah and know a lot of Torah, but he becomes arrogant and thinks he is something great. He studied and tried and made an effort and he understood everything, but he still says, I don't know anything, I didn't understand anything. Therefore, on Tisha B'Av during this week, we want to aspire to redemption. We don't want to awaken some kind of mercy just so that we understand something and say we know. No, we need the highest mercy, the most supreme mercy, the greatest mercy that there can be. This is understood. This is reached not through understanding, but through innocence. When we stop and say, we tried to understand, we made an effort to understand, but we don't know. We sit quietly and accept the decree, accept God's actions with love, and understand that everything is for the best and everything is good. This is the purpose of knowledge. This is the peak of knowledge. The greatest thing in knowledge is understanding. It's the realization that we actually know nothing and understand nothing. In the same way, we know that in the realm of understanding, in all the days of understanding, there are 50 gates. The Gemara says there are 50 gates of understanding. The highest gate has not been revealed to anyone. Not even to Moses, our teacher, was it revealed. Why? This understanding nullifies all existence. As we said, the entire Torah is the names of the Creator. One who attains the Torah's highest level will understand something specific. He will grasp a new attainment. No, he will reach a state where he understands that everything is the names of the Holy One, blessed be He. What are we actually trying to do when we study Torah in depth? And we try to understand what is hidden behind what is written. More understanding and yet more understanding, reaching the greatest depth. What is it that we ultimately understand? The names of the Holy One, blessed be He. Faith in the Holy One, blessed be He. The knowledge that there is a Holy One, blessed be He. Therefore, what is it that most absolutely atones for a person's sins? What is it that brings a person's redemption the fastest? It is the realization that a person gives up on knowing and knows that he will never understand anything of the deeds of the Holy One, blessed be He. As we move forward, does anyone want to add anything? Righteous ones?
One who studies with joy, and not those two sinners, but rather studies with joy. And a deep understanding of the Torah does not reach knowledge for the sake of knowledge itself, and they merely play with reasoning.
And they engage in complex interactions with the person. Furthermore, they actively play with the intricate processes of logical reasoning.
They study with joy. My dear Father, this is true wisdom. Oh, Father, it is very strong. In reality, this situation is actually working significantly in favor of the religion of the Prime Minister, which he himself had previously established. Now I want to connect, and therefore, Tali, now come down, allow it. Really, that is to say, now we can talk about the reason for the red heifer. That's specifically the red heifer, because they will not bring up the sexual reason for the red heifer, precisely because of this. They will want the routine. It is routine upon great routine, just as they will not bring it up. Actually, this is in.
A few months ago, we spoke about something tremendous regarding the whole matter of atonement for the sin of the golden calf. It is also connected to the building of the temple, and it is related to what we said. Let's repeat it. We mentioned it once about half a year ago, we think. We know what the atonement for the sin of the golden calf was. What was it that atoned for the entire people of Israel for the sin of the golden calf? It was that the children of Israel gave the half shekel. The half shekel was the atonement for the sin of the golden calf. The Holy One, blessed be He, said that they should give a half shekel for the tabernacle, count all the children of Israel, the well-known debates about how many countings there were, and all the matters and details written about this. How did the children of Israel actually atone for the sin of the golden calf? By the fact that each one of the children of Israel gave a half shekel. And we asked a very, very difficult question to look at the half shekel. The Holy One, blessed be He, told the children of Israel that not everyone should give a whole shekel, but rather a half shekel, and that all the children of Israel should be counted by means of the shekels. What is the usual way by which people are generally counted? What is the way things are usually counted? What is the way objects are typically counted? What is the way by which anything that exists in the world is usually counted? By number, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you count the item. Here, the Holy One, blessed be He, said that they should be counted in a very unusual way, that they should be counted by means of shekels, that each person should give a half shekel coin. Every Jew should give a coin worth half a shekel. Every Jew should give a coin worth half a shekel. And in this way, the children of Israel will be counted. Why? Out of concern for the evil eye. This is what our sages told us, that the Holy One, blessed be He, essentially said that the children of Israel should not be counted one after another as heads, one after another as individuals, out of concern for the evil eye, so that there will not be an evil eye upon the children of Israel. We asked, seemingly, how does this actually help with the evil eye? How does this actually remove the evil eye from the children of Israel? The children of Israel should not be counted themselves, but rather by counting shekels, and not just any shekels, but half shekels. This is what will protect the people of Israel from the evil eye. At first glance, this is not understood. Fine, so they shouldn't count the children of Israel, but count something else instead. So each person would give 1 shekel. Why specifically a half shekel? Somehow the half shekel, this number, this thing, this is what protects the people of Israel from the evil eye. Seemingly, why is that? Fine, they won't count the children of Israel. They could count their tents instead. Each person could pick up some object and they could count that. Or each person could give a whole shekel and they could count those. But the Holy One, blessed be He, says to Moses, no. What is it that will protect the children of Israel from the evil eye? It should be a half shekel. Every Jew should give a half shekel. But why really? What is the significance of this? In general, as we said a few months ago, we shared this Torah thought with someone, and we mentioned what people merited 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Whenever discussing the evil eye, people listened, all seeking amulets and protection against it. Nowadays, it's faded a bit, right? So we told him, apparently people did a lot of evil eye to the evil eye itself. They talked so much about the evil eye that it brought the evil eye upon itself, and people stopped talking about it. The evil eye harmed the evil eye. The evil eye harmed the evil eye, and that's why maybe people talk about it less today. But the Holy One, blessed be He, said that they should give specifically a half shekel, and that is what will protect the people of Israel. That each person should give a half shekel, a coin worth half a shekel. This is what will protect the nation of Israel. Let's think for a moment. Usually when people want to lessen the effect of the evil eye, what do? So that there won't be an evil eye on a person or on something, they minimize it, they try to make it less noticeable. Where do we learn this from? From Jacob, our forefather. Jacob, our forefather, told his sons, do not make yourselves conspicuous, do not appear altogether. When they entered the land of Egypt, when they went to buy grain, to buy provisions, to buy food from Egypt, he instructed them not to enter Egypt all at once. Each one should enter a different place so that their presence would be less noticeable. They shouldn't all go in together, 11 or 10 sons at once, but rather each son should enter through a different gate in order to remain inconspicuous. Did anything become less when each of the Israelites gave a half shekel? Absolutely not. That wasn't the case. It wasn't half a shekel that was broken in two, but rather it was a coin worth half a shekel. The exact same number of coins was received. There were 600,000 Israelites, and in return, 600,000 coins were collected. Why is that? How exactly does this help and protect against the evil eye, Rabbi Chaim? Not the righteous.
Why at all? Why is there any connection at all? Why specifically when you are born? Why?
You see the sheer magnitude. You see the vast multitude. You see right before you.
This very specific one. Multitude. Immediately the Satan is aroused and says, it's not so terrible from the Torah. It's not from the Torah. They didn't learn. You were given a connection in this world. That's exactly it. And to creation. He says, from this power comes the point of the eye. Let's teach the Jews.
So we said something tremendous and extremely powerful. Let's look and reflect. The evil eye is one of those things that is most misunderstood in terms of how it operates. We, the people of Israel, we believe that all of God's governance, the entire way in which the Holy One, blessed be He, runs the world, is through a system of reward and punishment. A person fulfills a mitzvah, he receives a reward. If a person commits a transgression, he receives a punishment. All the good that the Holy One, blessed be He, does for people is thanks to the good deeds that Jews perform. All the difficulties, judgments, and troubles that befall people are because of the transgressions that Jews commit. Everything depends on a person's reward and punishment. Here we are being taught something completely new. A person can be a complete tzaddik. A person can be the most whole individual. A person can be the most perfect person. Someone comes along and says, what a beautiful house he has. He deserves to lose his house. Why? He performed mitzvot. He received the house. If everything is truly governed by reward and punishment, and for the mitzvot a person does, he receives good. No, someone saw the house and that's it. The house is taken from him. The house burns down. Difficult things happen in the house. Why? It's not supposed to be like that. How do we reconcile these two things, the evil eye and reward and punishment? So we explained and said, how does the evil eye operate in the world? What is the way in which the evil eye brings about harm? So we said an important principle. The evil eye only has an effect when a situation arises where a person takes upon himself a certain mitzvah. When a person begins a certain mitzvah and says, I will fulfill this mitzvah, I will uphold this mitzvah. For a certain period of time, I am accepting upon myself to fulfill this mitzvah. A person begins to fulfill the mitzvah and then stops fulfilling the mitzvah. In such a case, yes, the evil eye can harm a person. Why? Let's think. If a person took upon himself to read a chapter of Psalms every day, then it's not just that. Every day that he reads a chapter, as our sages wrote, it's not that each day he reads a chapter of Psalms, God gives him a reward for that day, but rather God already gives the person reward and salvation for all the chapters of Psalms that he will read in the future. If a person took it upon himself to read a chapter of Psalms every day for a whole year, then it's not just that over the course of the year he will accumulate many merits, and at the end of the year he will receive the great thing he hoped for and will merit a great salvation. Absolutely not. Every day that he reads a chapter of Psalms, the Holy One, blessed be He, from the very first day that he took it upon himself to read the chapter of Psalms, the Holy One, blessed be He, gives him all the reward. The Holy One, blessed be He, grants him the salvation as if he had read all his destined Psalms. This is how the Holy One acts, as written in the teachings of our sages. Many write this. Rabbi Chal writes that a person who sits in a lesson and accepts. The Ramchal experienced these borrowings. One of them writes that a person who sits in a lesson and hears words of moral guidance, and he accepts upon himself to change as a result of these words of rebuke, the Holy One, blessed be He, already considers it for him as if he has repented, as if he has corrected his actions, as if he has asked forgiveness from the friends from whom he needs to ask forgiveness. The moment a person sits in a lesson and hears words of Torah, the Holy One, blessed be He, accepts upon himself to change, the Holy One, blessed be He, already the Holy One, blessed be He, already forgives him and pardons him for all his sins. And on the other hand, if a person comes to a Torah lesson and hears words of Torah and hears words of moral guidance, but is not moved by them and does not accept upon himself to change, then in fact that is his obligation. Judgments are upon him, and his negative reality intensifies many times over, because now he knows how severe what he is doing is. Now he knows how bad the things he is doing are. Judgments, God forbid, fold upon him. The Gemara in Tractate Berashot says that the crowding in the study hall, why is there crowding in the study hall? Because of the shedim, because of the harmful spirits, there is crowding. This is what the Gemara says in Tractate Berashot, page 6. Why is there crowding in the study hall? Because of the shedim and the harmful spirits. The Anaf Yosef asks, what is the connection? A study hall, a synagogue is a holy place, a place of righteousness, a place where people serve the Holy One, blessed be He. Why are there harmful spirits, demons there? What is the connection between these things? So he writes that since the shadim and the harmful spirits draw and receive all their vitality from the sins that a person commits, from the transgressions, from the bad deeds a person does, they say if a person commits sins and is wicked in a certain area, we receive a little nourishment. If he's a great sinner, we'll gain much nourishment. So sometimes the harmful spirits and the accusers push a person to attend a Torah lesson so that he will hear words of Torah and realize how he is not following the right path and not doing the right things. Then the sins he commits, the bad things he does, will create more harmful spirits from them, will create more nourishment for the negative forces in creation, and then they will receive more. So this is what the harmful spirits do in the study hall. There are people who hear words of Torah but are not changed by them and do not commit themselves to the words of Torah. The harmful spirits, they push these people to come to the study hall and are present with them in the study hall. It's frightening. We're in the middle of something, right? So we were in the middle of the topic about the evil eye, about how the evil eye works. So how does the evil eye work? If a person takes upon himself to perform a certain mitzvah for a long period of time, the Holy One, blessed be He, right from the beginning, when he accepts this good commitment, already gives him all the reward, all the abundance, all the goodness, all the good things, as if he has already done everything. So what actually happens if a person took upon himself a good commitment, and thanks to this good commitment, for example, the Holy One, blessed be He, gave him a house. The Holy One, blessed be He, gave him a house. The Holy One, blessed be He, created for him the house he wanted because of the good commitment, and the person stopped fulfilling that good commitment. So he received the house, but this house has no value, no worth, no spiritual force that sustains it. So the Holy One, blessed be He, does not take the house away from him. But if someone comes and says, what a beautiful house he has, then the house will be taken from him. Because then they begin to examine the person's records in heaven and check, does he deserve it? Does he not deserve it? Did he keep his promise? Did he not keep his promise? And then the good things that a person has are taken from him. If a person takes upon himself commitments and the Holy One, blessed be He, grants him abundance, the Holy One, blessed be He, gives him good things, and he fulfills the commitments he took upon himself, there is no possibility that evil will harm him. There is no possibility that any harmful force or anything bad will harm him, because there is reward and punishment in the world. A person who fulfills a mitzvah receives a reward. No one else who is jealous of the reward he received can actually take away the mitzvah from him, nor can they take away the reward he received for the mitzvah he fulfilled. Who can take it from him? But if it happens that a person took upon himself a good resolution and he received a great reward, received something significant as a result of the good resolution he fulfilled, and he received it but did not continue to uphold it, then he has something without value, something worthless. Anyone who looks at this with an evil eye and wonders how this person has such a thing, marvels at how he merited such a good thing, so too in heaven they are amazed at how this person has such a good thing. They check, examine, and look to see whether he is worthy of this thing or not. They see that he is not worthy of it, that he took upon himself a resolution but did not fulfill it and did not do it, and then they take this thing away from him. This is how the evil eye works. There is no other way to explain it. Do you understand? This is against
the evil eye. Anyone
who wants to come out of a tunnel should say, I am from Gilad, in his image, coming out of the tunnel. He will be removed. He will be removed from a whole page. Therefore, this thing exists in the tunnel. Wait, we want to complete this for the sake of our life struggles. So this is basically the way the tunnel works. This is essentially how the tunnel operates. If a person pays with his actions and takes upon himself commitments and fulfills them 100%, no one can take it away from him. No one can take away the good things he has received. But if a person takes upon himself good commitments and does not fulfill them, he immediately receives all the good things. But anyone who is amazed or impressed by the good things he has all at once can have those things taken away from him. So based on what we see, based on what we know in the world, what do we call it when the Holy One, blessed be He, gives a person a great many things? When the Holy One, blessed be He, gives a person something of tremendous value, and then that thing of great value is taken away from him, its validity is taken, the thing that sustains it is taken away, just as we see in the world with money. We know that there is a currency note, which one day can have a very high value and be worth a great deal, and another day its value can be worth nothing at all. Why is that? Because the value, the economic power that stands behind that note has been taken away from it. One day a note is worth 4, one day a note is worth 3, one day a note is worth this, one day a note is worth that. How can that be? It's exactly the same note, it's exactly the same coin, but there is a financial validity to every note, every coin, everything that exists. If there's a lot of financial validity or a lot of economic power behind this thing, its value rises. If there isn't much economic power, this thing goes down. Who made the slogan leader better than us? How do you explain that? Do you understand? Yes, they
Receive testimony.
already. We know that shekel dollar, So that's how this thing actually goes up and down. So what do we see? What is the closest equivalent to how the evil eye works? Money that goes up and down. If there's a coin, a bill that one day is worth a lot and the next time it's worth nothing, that's basically what this is. You can take that same bill. One time you tear it and it loses a huge amount. But 10 years later, if you tear that same bill, it actually hasn't lost anything. Nothing was taken from it. There is value behind things that rises and falls according to something else. This is why, in order to be protected from the evil eye, what did the Holy One, blessed be He, do? The Holy One, blessed be He, told all the people of Israel to give a half shekel. What does it mean, a half shekel? A shekel, essentially, whose value is half. What does it mean? A shekel whose value is half. The people of Israel were 600,000 people. They gave 600,000 coins, but they gave 600,000 coins that were worth how much? 300,000, half the money, half the amount of what the people of Israel gave. What did they actually do? They performed a mitzvah that essentially lowers and raises the value of the thing. When you perform a mitzvah that is equivalent in action, that is equivalent in essence to something else, you are protected from the thing, protected from the other thing, protected from the other thing that is being done. A person performs a mitzvah in a certain area, and he performs a mitzvah such that if there is nothing else, he is protected from the other thing. That is why the Holy One, blessed be He, said to give a coin of half a shekel. Why? Like the evil eye, it protects you from it. I always carry it with me.
I thought you went through this during the time of
The half.
the official Israeli shekel currency.
We sent it in a message, we didn't write it down? Yes, that's right. Right. Does anyone else want to add? Any righteous people?
What?
In addition,
In the book, yes. This information is also clearly documented within the pages of the book. No, that is not right.
no. It's written who it is, it's written. This was renewed after the book. It was developed after the book. It can't be.
Rabbi, we have a question about this evil eye from the Rebbe. The Rebbe says, how do you do it so the evil eye won't affect you? If you disconnect him from God, the Rebbe writes, if you disconnect him from God, the person says, me, and me, I disconnect from God, then he can be harmed by the evil eye. But if you say to a person, nice car, and he says, God gave it, the house, God gave it, and he is connected to God, then he cannot be harmed by the evil eye. Based on this principle, the Rebbe brings an approach. The question I have is, there is nothing that connects a person to the Holy One, blessed be He, more than the Torah. There isn't. The Torah, this is the instruction of the students of the students. So I never understood this Gemara. So how does it say that the first tablets were broken because of the evil eye? How? But it is the very connection to God that is the foundation. How could it be that the evil eye affected them? This is a question from the Gemara. What does it say? He wants...
For an answer
I don't have an answer.
to that,
The Torah needs to be connected to reality. The Torah is the light of the Holy One. Blessed be He that gives life to the whole world. When you have the tablets and you have the 10 commandments, but you make a golden calf, you are not connected to the Torah.
But Rabbi Chaim said the evil eye didn't affect people today. It actually only affected the tablets themselves. Right? Why didn't the evil eye affect the tablets?
It wasn't really about the tablets, but about the people of Israel. It wasn't just broken tablets, but Israel's broken spirit.
Given amidst thunder and lightning, the evil eye gained power over them. The Gemara first explains that because they were given with thunder and lightning, the evil eye took hold. You see, with the tablets themselves, due to the nature of this great event, the evil eye took hold. How can something so spiritual, nothing holier than this, be affected by the evil eye? For the tablets an event. How does Gemara put it? I asked this question to the Admor of Morocco 4 years ago. And the Admor told me, and leave it for now, its time will come.
With God's help and in life, its time will come. With God's help, may everyone have a peaceful Shabbat, abundance, joy, success, and all good things.